Images are the native language of the imagination. This is why most people don't dream in text. Now, making images is not only an art, but a visual form of communication that is as rich and as complex as written language. The most fundamental way to make an image is to draw one. Now, I've drawn for my entire life. I've taught thousands of people to draw, and I am convinced that drawing is a skill that is as essential as literacy and numeracy. Now, specifically, I'm talking about observational drawing, which means to observe something and draw an accurate representation of it. Observational drawing is more of a science than an art. It requires learning how three-dimensional forms occupy space, how they interact with light, and demands that every attribute of the subject be analyzed and recorded. Now, people often assume that a good drawing is accurate from its start, but this is absolutely not the case. The first lines of a drawing are rarely accurate, so they're drawn lightly. Often so lightly, they're hardly visible. Light lines can be drawn, evaluated, and redrawn as many times as necessary in order to arrive at an accurate representation. This means that drawing trains our minds to view our mistakes as an essential part of a process. Too often, people experience a sense of shame regarding their mistakes. But imagine what might have been different in your life had your mistakes in any area been viewed as normal, temporary, and holding vital clues to your eventual success. Now, in addition to being fundamental to drawing, this is also the mindset that is crucial for innovation to occur. The ability to innovate is essential in a global economy where almost anything can be commoditized except the process of innovation. In fact, new ideas only occur when we take risks and our failures become productive. Drawing habituates that thought process, embedding it in the mind is a perfectly natural way of finding solutions. Now, I often hear people say that drawing doesn't have a practical use outside of art and design, and I actually agree, with one addendum. If you're human, you're a designer. To design is to analyze and solve problems. Limiting ourselves to words and numbers leaves a gap in our problem-solving skill set. Human beings have a powerful imagination that, when tempered with a design process, can solve almost any problem. Drawing is a tool that allows us to visually tap into that imagination and extract ideas so they can be developed. Drawing, when combined with language and mathematics, offers a complete set of tools for solving and exploring creative challenges, as well as communicating those solutions to others. Now, in almost every drawing class I've ever taught, there are students who are convinced that they cannot learn to draw because they're not talented. The whole concept of talent is that of a skill-based aristocracy that if we're not born into, we're doomed to mediocrity. This idea creates a dangerous mental block to human capacity. Fortunately, researchers are proving that mastery in any field depends much more on passion and practice than innate ability. Just like language and mathematics, drawing can be taught. And while you're learning how to draw, you may begin to wonder what else you're capable of that you used to assume required talent. There's a sense that people often get when viewing an old drawing that it was done because the camera had not yet been invented. But the act of drawing is much closer to solving a mathematical equation than to taking a photograph. Drawing is an active way of engaging reality, of observing, analyzing, and recording it with the possibility of reimagining it. 40% of our brain is devoted to processing visual information. That's more than all of our other senses combined. But most people never gain a conscious understanding of how to communicate visually through an image-based language, which is a universal language. Now, in my own life, drawing is how I've made sense of the world. To borrow from Thoreau, drawing has always been my way of driving life into a corner and reducing it down. I would encourage everyone to participate in this fundamental human experience. I'm calling for a widespread visual literacy. Whether it's on paper, tablet, or any other form of technology, visual literacy begins with drawing. Thank you.